Pokemon Masters! It's finally time, and I don't expect you to believe me. I am going to be consistent with our weekly video upload. So, as per our, I think it was a late December upload, we had talked about naming a segment and taking it on consistently, and we talked about it either being named Prof's Log or State of the Game. However, after seeing comments, but also feeling deep down inside what I really wanted it to be called, I made the executive decision, and it's going to be called State of the Prof. As I said in that last video, State of the Game is what is referred to of every moving part within a game of Pokemon TCG. It's the number of cards that have been drawn at any given moment. It's what are the current active and bench Pokemon, the number of cards in the discard pile. That is the state of the game. And whether it's every little detail or every action that's made, it kind of makes sense to this segment. But alternatively, Prof's Log refers to me talking to you about what's going on in my life as a professor, as a Pokemon professor, and also what's going on in my journey of being a professor, but also as a small shop owner. So I thought, you know what, let's not vote on one or the other, let's combine the two. So State of the Prof was born, and that's what it should be called. All right, so for this one, I do want to keep it really short, and I just want to talk a little bit about some of the little nitty-gritty and some economics here within the Pokemon. I wrote a little bit of notes so I can stay on task and I don't overly ramble. Of course, it is expected that I ramble because I'm a hyper individual. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Pokeconomy. I wanted to talk specifically about like how it's all going. Right now, we're literally 3 days away from the 30. Whoa, it's the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, and it's just 3 days away. Oh my gosh, what an exciting time it is. And of course, with things like that, it does affect the Pokeconomy. And I feel like it should be a time of celebration. It should be a time of celebrating artwork, celebrating the artists of Pokemon, celebrating our favorite Mons. Umbreon is the best Eon. And then, of course, reflection. And I can't help but reflect because of all the chaos in social media, news, YouTube, the pack rippers on YouTube. I mean, nothing wrong with you pursuing and doing what you want, but just understand that it all has an impact. So, narrowing that focus with reflecting on the Pokeconomy, all I want to say is, as many of you know, if you go back and see my previous videos, I have talked about why it is I feel that our shop was broken into. And I feel it rings true. However, I don't feel that it was clearly elaborated on. So that's something I wanted to talk about, all right? So when times are tough economically, people who are in need may feel desperate to do things they might not normally do. It's terrible. But now, what are those things that they might do? For example, someone broke into our shop, all right? I'm well over it, my emotions have settled, and I would like to proceed with my life, but I'm gonna use it as an example, okay? So now, someone is desperate and they need to eat, and they know that pawn shops exist, and they need something valuable to convert it to cash, and all of a sudden their YouTube feed is filled with ribbon shippers, but also just like Instagram reels of cha-ching, 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 money, 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 Pokemon cards are valuable. Well, now gold necklaces and jewelry and electronics are shifted away from the focus, and then the person goes and thinks, well, Pokemon cards or magic cards or collectibles. And I mean, it's kind of unavoidable that collectibles have a price tag associated with them. It's just gone a little too far. Of course, disclaimer, this is my opinion, and I'm not someone who cares to make someone believe my opinion. I'm just letting you know how I feel about it, all right? So when something is notably valuable, then the attention is shifted to that valuable thing, all right? So I will continue to always say that Pokemon cards are worthless, unless you love them. And that's a fact. If your car breaks down and you go to the mechanic, unless you have a very, very special, super awesome mechanic who also loves Pokemon cards, you can't go to that mechanic and say, hey, I've got a Pikachu. Can I pay you with the Pikachu? No, you can't do it. It just won't work, right? So it's the matter of the fact is that something is only valuable if someone's willing to buy it or sell it or trade it, all right? So that being said, of course, there's online marketplaces where you can go and sell the item to someone who cares about the item, and then you have money to then go and repair your car. I'm not denying that fact, but what I'm saying is that it's only valuable to someone who cherishes it, all right? And on the note of value itself, it's very important that we understand those definitions and separate them, all right? So what is value defined as? Well, at least in my mind, I'm no Webster's, and I'm not gonna look it up on Webster's, but the way I've grown to understand it is value is what something brings to your life. For example, education. I value Pokemon cards because by playing the card game, I'm practicing math, reading, critical thinking, and social skills, and developing my brain so that I can improve myself as a human. Woohoo! All right. Or, for example, entertainment. I have fun playing Pokemon cards, or I have fun admiring Pokemon cards and laying them out in my binder and enjoying that those cards are laid out in my binder and flipping through and appreciating them. That's all value. Say it with me. Value is what something brings to your life. Okay, now, what is price? What is cost? All right, well, that's a measurement of value, and it can only be truly deciphered and decided by a conversation or the action of purchasing. So let's say I go to Walmart and I buy a bottle of soap, and the bottle of soap costs $2. The market has decided, and same with the seller, and same with the retailer and the wholesaler, that the measurement of value of the bottle of soap is $2. To you, the value is clean hands, and thus you're willing to agree that the price of the bottle of soap is $2, and you put it in your shopping cart. Cha-ching, soap. All right, so that's about where I want to leave it. All I'm going to do from here is encourage that the comments go wild and yell at me, and I always want to encourage that by having a conversation, we can grow and learn together, all right? I also want to state that by ripping packs and flashing price tags on your screen, it's overplayed. I literally, even when it started, I'm not someone who enjoys watching that. If you really, really want to see the coolest part of Pokemon, just type into your YouTube search bar up there somewhere, or even on wherever socials you're on. Search Pokemon Regional Championship Match, TCG, or VGC, or Go, and watch some real action and get real value for your entertainment, all right? All right, so next up, I do want to talk about a little bit of learning I've had as a shop owner and dealing with and learning about distribution, okay? And this will really help you as viewers and as shoppers, okay? So when you want to make sure that you always have access to reasonable pricing and actual inventory on shelves, going and supporting your local card shop is so important. But not just that. When you go to your local card shop, and especially during a league night or on any night where a Pokemon Professor is on site, that Pokemon Professor can teach you about having a Play Pokemon Trainer ID. Why is this important? Why do I bring it up when I'm talking about distribution, you might ask? Well, that's the whole way distribution works currently, at least in Canada, and at least based on my conversation with the distributors. By you having a player ID and you showing up to League and their professor reporting your attendance, the Pokemon company gets a snapshot of how many people are showing up to that store and how many people to support for that store. And by the way, did you know, just by having a player ID, you get access to free Pokemon cards? Having access to free Pokemon cards by having a player ID? Well, that's crazy, you might say. Absolutely not. As a Pokemon Professor and a store owner, but even if I wasn't the store owner, as a Pokemon Professor, I actually report attendance per play session per month, and the Pokemon company sees how many people come to our store. And because of that, they send us a number of Play Pokemon prize packs. Currently, we're on Prize Pack Series 8. They look awesome, and inside are very special types of cards. They're the most meta-relevant cards, they're the most playable types of cards, but also they're extra special because they have a Play Pokemon stamp on them. And when they have a Play Pokemon stamp, they tend to get a nice price tag anyways. Although, as a store, we have something called an embargo, so it's actually against the rules for us to sell any of these, which is even better for you guys. All you gotta do is show up and get these packs for free. Isn't that amazing? It's one of the best things ever. So you get this free prize pack, and that way you have access to cards, and you can build and play your decks, okay? It's awesome. But now, let's take it further, because we're talking about distribution here. All right, so now, based on attendance, not only do we get a number of prize packs to support our tournaments, which give you guys championship points, leading you all the way up to the World Championships invite that you so crave to be at that World Championship podium or being on the live stream, battling in front of 1 million viewers, right? Not just that, we also then get a set number of pre-release kits to host pre-release. Did you know pre-release is extra super awesome? Pre-release lets you play with your newest set 2 weeks prior to the launch of that set. Not just that, you're on a level playing field when you play in a pre-release because everyone's playing with all new cards, and you're getting the best possible price for those cards simply by showing up, participating in a little fun tournament, and getting some new cards well before the regular retail shoppers that go to Walmart to buy their cards. It's kind of like a really awesome exclusive club. It's my favorite really awesome exclusive club. Pokemon trainers. Anyways, I digress. So here's the thing. Distributors really like having your store's pre-release signed on to that distributor. The reason that's so good is they get a guaranteed number of sales to local card shops based on the number of card shops that let Pokemon know that we order our distribution through distributor A. So now when distributor A gets the pre-release ordered from that store, they know they're going to make X amount of dollars. And that will also help that distributor know this store is here for the long run and we can safely give them more other products. And that really helps that store because then they can have products. But also, more likely than not, a local card store and their owners and their staff are likely there because they're passionate about what they're there doing. Meaning, they will likely look out for the hobbyist, fans, and enthusiasts. Meaning, they're more likely to say 1 per person, 3 per group, etc. So for example, I just heard a story about a couple people going to Costco and returning into the line over and over again, even though it's limit of 2. We all know Costco's there for profit specifically, and they're gonna let it happen. Whereas at my local card store, you can try it, it ain't happening. And that's why I don't just limit 1 per person, I also limit 3 per group. Because if you come with your grandma, your grandpa, your auntie, your uncle, your nephew, you're still only getting that maximum of 3 per group. And sometimes, depending on how much inventory we got as a store, we might even just say limit of 1 per group. And of course, there's always those nasty players who play the system, right? They separate themselves in the lineup between other guests and whatever. And of course, there's nothing we can do about that. But at the very least, we're gonna try our best to make sure there's enough for everyone. And we're gonna support our most loyal customers. And that's because we know that those loyal customers are true fans. They're really fans of the hobby rather than fans of eBay. And again, disclaimer here, I'm not against capitalism. I actually even have an eBay account, and once in a while, I list things for sale on eBay. There's nothing wrong with that inherently, though. It is a factor of people targeting and focusing on profit. And that's why I haven't posted to eBay in a really long time. A, it takes my time and attention away from the local card shop, running events and all that stuff, and puts me in front of a screen, listing item after item after item. All right, so that being said, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of those insights of like what goes on behind the scenes. Of course, I can't go super into detail, we have limited time, but hopefully that helps you decide. When you're out looking for cards, you go, hey, I really like my local card shops. Plus, I got a player ID, and I go play at my league challenges and league cups, so I want to support those stores so they're there for a really, really long time, so that they support me on my journey to the World Championships. All right, and I've got one more thing on my notepad here, which is, right, this is awesome. It's been about 6 months, a little more for one person, a little less for another person, for another 2 people. But as a store, just last year, 2025, we got our first official staff. These staff are what are known as private contractors. So basically, they're paying themselves by charging me money for their time, just because of the size of our store and the way that our economics works currently for the store. I do hope in the long run to set this up properly. As the store grows, we should be able to officially start including them in what's called a payroll. But for now, they're private contractors. And it's really cool learning all this, and I feel like you might want to know a little bit about what I'm learning about bringing on a team. All right, so first of all, the one that you've probably interacted the most with is our marketing person. Our marketing person really helps a lot because I'm terrible at staying consistent at social media. So when you see things like reply to your comments, usually that's me. But when you see the certain time that the post was posted, that would be our marketing person. They help us stay consistent with posting. So it's still my job to make videos and get creative and do all that stuff, but it's become that person's job to make the posts published and on schedule. And I'm really thankful, and I really know and hope that you are also thankful, because with that, you guys get a little bit more of me, a little bit more of the insights, and a little bit more Pokemon in your life. So thank you so much. And next up, we have 2 shop helpers. One started just over 6 months ago, one started just under 6 months ago, and it's been really cool. However, what I've found is I kind of forget how to do my own job now. We've been doing this training process so that I have a little bit of time to step away and attend large events like the Toronto Regional Championships that just happened, and also maybe attend vending events, and also be able to help with trade-ins or buys, but also step away and go upstairs to our classroom and teach Pokemon school, but also to step away and run league challenges, league cups, pre-release for all 3 video game, Go, and TCG. So on that note, I just want to say it's been a lot of learning, and the main thing that I've been learning is consistency. It has been a challenge to always provide a consistent shopping experience to each customer, depending on which one of us is at the till, which one of us is running the shop at any given moment. And it's actually really cool because I've started to see that some customers like coming when a certain one of us is there, which is really awesome because we start to get to know our customers a little better and the type of shopping experience they prefer. But also in that, we still want to make sure that our brand values are followed and stayed true to. So the main thing that I've made sure to implement with all 3 of our team members is our 3 core values of our shop, Cedar's PC: generosity, inclusivity, and transparency. We like to share all those facts, we like to share those factors, but also we like to give away our free cards to once a week to whoever visits. We have our question of the week, but also we have our league check-ins where you could get your prize packs. Huge thank you to the Pokemon Company International for providing those. But also, let's say a youngster comes in, this is literally in our policy, let's say a youngster come in and they have $9 instead of $10 for their booster pack. Canadian prices, okay? So that would be like $7.50 USD per pack. We have a marginal pricing model, meaning we just apply a percentage to what we paid all in to get an item into the store, rather than following market price, okay? In fact, those marginal sellers are kind of the ones at the front end who are actually the ones that start to create that market price, with the exception of, you know, resellers, scalpers, and distributors. So there are other factors, and that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like having staff right now. So on that note, we like to make sure that, like, let's say a little kid is at our shop and they have $9 instead of $10. We just say, sure, you know, give us the 9, you can still have your booster pack, you know. Or let's say they want, you know, a $15 card that's in our glass display, and the parents are really like, no, we gave you a budget, your budget is $6 or $5, choose your 10 for 5 from the book. What we'll end up doing, and again, this is in our policy, and I try to make sure it's clear, and something else we're going to start doing is doing more weekly meetings with the whole team so we're all on the same page. But we want to make sure that that kid is extra happy, so after they choose their 10 cards for $5, we might just reach into the glass display and choose an extra $5 or $10 card and just throw it into the bag and be like, hey, there's a surprise in there for you, have a good day, you know. So it's been exciting as much as it's been a challenge, and it's so worth it. And the main point I want to drive home about this is, I never thought I would feel this, but being able to give someone an expected amount of money to help them sustain their lifestyle or life is kind of really fulfilling. And I feel like it's a different type of feeling when you're building something and you're building it for yourself and your community, and you're building a shop and you get to see the shop grow. But that's a different feeling than giving someone a working wage and something to do with their time, but also providing leadership. And in some cases, it could be mentorship, it could be learning. I learn a lot from our team, but also it could even be like collaboration. So I just want to express, especially to our team, if you guys are watching, heartfelt thank you. It means the world to me to be in the position I'm in, and I promise everyone I will not take it for granted. And that goes to you as well. If you're in the community and you regularly shop at our store, or you attend the Cedar Cup tournament, formerly a few times a year, but now once a year. If you attend our tournaments, if you come on release day and I'm disappointed because we didn't get shipping on time, and I have to tell you that, you know, release day is pushed back for our store specifically, and you still are consoling to me, but also that you'll be back when they come in, it means the world to me, for all of you guys. Thank you. So not much more to say on State of the Prof, but there is so much more to say in future State of the Profs. Thank you for hearing me out. Again, argue with me in the comments. I know it's not an argument, it's a debate, and I'm happy to join the conversation. So, State of the Prof, logging out. Thanks for listening.